Ladies and gentlemen, in every strong relationship, there is more than just passion, there is partnership, understanding, and growth. Today, I want to share with you some of the most essential relationship insights that can help couples not only stay together but thrive together. When two people enter a relationship, there is often a natural assumption that love alone will carry them through the challenges ahead. In the beginning, this seems true. Everything feels exciting, conversations flow effortlessly, and even moments of silence feel comfortable. But as time passes, life stresses, work, responsibilities, misunderstandings, and personal differences can quietly create distance between two partners. In these moments, communication is not just helpful, it is the lifeline of the relationship. Unfortunately, many couples fall into the trap of thinking they already know their partner so well that they can read their mind. While intuition and familiarity are valuable, assumptions can become dangerous when they replace honest dialogue. An assumption leaves room for misinterpretation, and misinterpretation breeds resentment. The truth is, no matter how deeply two people love each other, neither can truly know what the other is feeling or thinking without communication. It's like trying to navigate through a dark room without a light. You may have a sense of where the furniture is, but you will still bump into things you didn't expect. In relationships, these bumps come in the form of arguments, hurt feelings, or the gradual erosion of trust. Communication turns the light on. It helps you see clearly where your partner stands, what they need, and how you can work together to meet those needs. Strong communication goes far beyond talking. It requires listening with the intent to understand, not just the intent to reply. Many people listen while already preparing their counterargument in their head. This prevents them from truly absorbing their partner's perspective. Active listening means you put your own thoughts aside for a moment, give your partner your full attention, and show them that their voice matters. You might use affirming gestures like nodding, maintaining eye contact, or repeating back what they've said to ensure you've understood it correctly. This simple act can diffuse tension and make your partner feel valued, even during disagreements. It's also important to recognize that communication is not only about resolving problems, it's about maintaining connection. Couples often make the mistake of only engaging in deep conversations when something is wrong. But healthy communication involves daily check-ins, shared laughter, and discussions about goals, dreams, and even silly thoughts. These small, consistent exchanges build a foundation of emotional intimacy that makes it easier to tackle difficult conversations when they arise. One of the most powerful tools in effective communication is vulnerability. This can be difficult because vulnerability means opening up about your fears, insecurities, and mistakes. It means saying, "I need you," or "I'm hurt," without worrying that it makes you look weak. But in reality, vulnerability strengthens a relationship because it fosters trust. When you reveal your inner self, you invite your partner to do the same. It's in these moments that relationships deepen, not when you present a perfect image, but when you show your authentic self. Equally important is creating a safe space for communication. Your partner must feel that they can speak honestly without fear of judgment or immediate criticism. If one person feels attacked every time they share their thoughts, they will eventually stop sharing altogether. That's when silent resentment begins to grow. Instead, approach discussions with curiosity rather than accusation. Instead of saying, "You never listen to me," try, "I feel unheard when I talk about my day. Can we work on that?" This shift from blame to understanding keeps the conversation constructive. Another crucial aspect is timing. Even the most important message can be lost if delivered in the wrong moment. Bringing up a sensitive topic when your partner is tired, stressed, or distracted often leads to defensiveness. Instead, choose moments when both of you can give your full attention to the conversation. This doesn't mean avoiding difficult topics. It means respecting each other enough to set the stage for a healthy exchange. In long-term relationships, it's easy to let routine replace curiosity. Couples stop asking meaningful questions and assume they already know the answers, but people are constantly growing and changing. Your partner's needs, desires, and priorities today might not be the same as they were a year ago. That's why communication must be ongoing, not a one-time effort. Asking thoughtful questions, "What's been on your mind lately?" or "What's something you've been dreaming about?" keeps the relationship dynamic and evolving. It's also worth mentioning that communication doesn't have to be verbal alone. Physical affection, shared activities, and even small acts of service are ways of speaking a love. However, these nonverbal forms of communication should complement, not replace, verbal dialogue. You might surprise your partner with their favorite meal, but you should also be able to sit down and discuss your shared vision for the future. Lastly, remember that communication is a skill. No one is born a perfect communicator. It takes practice, patience, and a willingness to learn. There will be times when you misunderstand each other, when words come out wrong, or when emotions get in the way. What matters most is not perfection, but persistence. Every time you choose to talk things through rather than let them fester, you are investing in the health of your relationship. In the end, prioritizing communication over assumption is about making your partner feel seen, heard, and understood. It's about choosing connection over convenience, empathy over ego, and clarity over guessing games. When two people commit to open, honest dialogue, they don't just avoid conflict, they create a relationship where trust thrives, intimacy deepens, and love has room to grow stronger every single day. Every person expresses and receives love in their own unique way, and one of the most powerful steps a couple can take toward a stronger relationship is to truly understand these differences. Many times, conflicts in relationships aren't about a lack of love, but about a mismatch in how that love is being communicated. You might be showing love in the way that feels natural to you, but if that's not the way your partner best receives it, the message can be lost. That's where the concept of love languages comes in, recognizing that people feel most cared for through different forms of expression. Some people feel most loved through words of affirmation, simple, heartfelt expressions like "I appreciate you," "You make me happy," or "I'm proud of you." For them, kind and genuine words are like fuel for the relationship. Others value quality time above all else. These people feel closest to their partner when they're fully present together, whether that's sharing a meal, taking a walk, or simply sitting in the same room with phones turned off and attention focused on each other. Then, there are those who thrive on acts of service, where actions speak louder than words. It could be making them breakfast, running an errand for them, or fixing something they've been worried about. There are also people who connect most deeply through physical touch, not just sexual intimacy, but also holding hands, hugging, or a reassuring hand on the shoulder. Finally, some people feel loved when they receive thoughtful gifts, not necessarily expensive ones, but tokens that show you were thinking of them. Understanding your partner's primary love language can transform the way you connect. Imagine a situation where you show your partner love by buying them gifts because that's what makes you feel cared for, but their primary love language is quality time. While they might appreciate the gifts, they could still feel emotionally distant because what they truly need is your undivided attention. On the other hand, when you speak their love language, it's like you're tuning into the right emotional frequency. Your love is received clearly, without static or confusion. It's also important to remember that love languages are not about ignoring the others. Most people respond to all five in some way, but usually one or two stand out as the most impactful. A healthy relationship involves learning to incorporate all the languages over time, while placing special emphasis on your partner's primary ones. This creates a richer, more layered experience of love. Discovering each other's love language is not just about asking, "What's your love language?" It's about observing and listening. Pay attention to how your partner shows love to you and to others. People often give love in the way they wish to receive it. Notice what they complain about or request most often, because these hints reveal what they value most. For example, if your partner often says, "We never spend time together anymore," quality time might be their main need. If they light up every time you give them a compliment, words of affirmation could be their language. Once you know your partner's language, the next step is intentional effort. Love languages may not always come naturally to you, especially if they're different from your own. If your partner values acts of service, but you're not naturally inclined to think about chores or favors, you might need to train yourself to notice opportunities to help. If they thrive on physical touch, but you grew up in a family that wasn't very physically affectionate, it might feel a little awkward at first. But the beauty of love is in making those intentional choices, choosing to step outside your comfort zone to make your partner feel secure, appreciated, and cherished. It's also worth noting that love languages can change over time. Life stages, personal growth, and even external stressors can shift a person's needs. A partner who once prioritized gifts might, during a stressful period, crave acts of service or more words of affirmation. That's why checking in regularly matters. Relationships thrive when both partners remain curious about each other, even after years together. One of the challenges couples face is assuming that their partner should just know how to make them feel loved. But love languages aren't always obvious, and even when they are, they require communication. Being open about your needs is not selfish, it's an act of clarity. It gives your partner a roadmap for loving you in the way that's most meaningful. Similarly, asking your partner how they most feel loved shows that you care enough to meet them where they are, not where it's easiest for you. Speaking your partner's love language doesn't mean ignoring your own. A healthy balance means both partners are mindful of each other's needs while also expressing their own. If one person is always giving in the other's language without receiving love in their own, resentment can build. Mutual effort is key. Love languages work best when both people are actively speaking and listening in them. At the core, understanding love languages is about empathy. It's the ability to step into your partner's emotional world and see love through their eyes. When you make the effort to learn and practice their language, you're not just meeting a need, you're building a bridge that connects two hearts more deeply than before. And over time, that bridge becomes stronger, more resilient, and capable of withstanding the inevitable storms of life. Love is not just about how much you feel for someone. It's about how well you express it in a way they can truly receive. When couples learn to communicate love in the language their partner understands best, they move from simply loving each other to making each other feel loved every single day. And that, more than grand gestures or fleeting passion, is what keeps relationships strong for the long run. A strong relationship is built on more than just physical attraction or shared interests. It requires a balance between emotional closeness and physical intimacy. While sexual connection can be a powerful expression of love, it cannot carry the weight of a long-term relationship on its own. Likewise, emotional closeness alone, without any physical expression, can leave a couple feeling like close friends rather than romantic partners. The healthiest relationships weave these two elements together, creating a bond that is both deeply affectionate and passionately alive. Physical intimacy, in its many forms, has the power to connect partners in ways that words cannot. It can be as simple as holding hands, sharing a soft kiss, or cuddling on the couch after a long day. These moments release oxytocin, the bonding hormone, which strengthens feelings of trust and closeness. Sexual intimacy, when nurtured, becomes a deeply personal form of communication, one that says, "I choose you," and "I desire you," without a single word. But without the emotional foundation to support it, physical intimacy can feel empty or mechanical over time. On the other hand, emotional intimacy is the ongoing process of truly knowing and being known by your partner. It is built through conversations where both people feel safe to share their thoughts, vulnerabilities, and dreams. Emotional closeness grows when you support each other through challenges, celebrate successes together, and engage in daily acts of care. This kind of connection creates a secure space where both partners feel valued, respected, and understood. When emotional intimacy is strong, physical intimacy tends to flourish naturally because there is trust, affection, and a sense of safety. The danger arises when a couple neglects one side of this balance. For instance, a relationship that focuses heavily on the physical but ignores the emotional may burn bright at first but often fades quickly. Physical passion without emotional depth can lead to feelings of loneliness even when you're lying right next to each other. Conversely, a relationship that is rich in emotional closeness but lacking physical intimacy may feel safe and loving, yet over time, one or both partners may begin to feel undesired or disconnected in a romantic sense. This can quietly erode the relationship, creating frustration or even leading one partner to seek physical fulfillment elsewhere. Balancing these two forms of intimacy starts with communication. Couples need to talk openly about their needs, desires, and expectations. This includes not only sexual preferences, but also comfort levels with affection in everyday life. Some people may need frequent hugs, touches, and kisses to feel loved, while others might be more reserved. These differences aren't problems, they are opportunities to better understand and adapt to each other. It's also important to remember that both emotional and physical intimacy require effort and intentionality. Emotional closeness doesn't just happen because you live together. It's built by spending meaningful time together, engaging in shared activities, and showing genuine interest in each other's inner worlds. Physical intimacy also needs tending, scheduling date nights, creating an environment where you can connect without distractions, and being playful and affectionate even outside the bedroom all help maintain a sense of passion. One mistake couples make is letting life's routines and stress push intimacy to the background. Work deadlines, family responsibilities, and personal pressures can leave little time or energy for connection. Over time, this neglect can make both emotional and physical closeness feel like distant memories. The key is to prioritize the relationship, even in small ways. A 5-minute conversation where you truly listen, a lingering hug before leaving for the day, or an evening where you put away phones and focus solely on each other can make a world of difference. Another factor in balancing emotional and physical intimacy is understanding that they often influence each other. For many people, emotional closeness enhances the desire for physical intimacy. When they feel emotionally secure and appreciated, they are more open to sexual connection. For others, physical intimacy can help them feel emotionally closer. The act of touch and shared pleasure strengthens their bond. Recognizing which dynamic applies to you and your partner allows you to nurture the relationship more effectively. It's also worth mentioning that intimacy levels can fluctuate over time due to life circumstances such as illness, pregnancy, parenting, or stress. These changes are natural and not a sign that the relationship is failing. The important part is to remain connected during these times to maintain emotional intimacy and find alternative forms of physical connection if sexual activity is temporarily reduced. This might mean more cuddling, massages, or simply lying close to each other while talking. The reassurance of touch, even without sex, can keep the sense of closeness alive. Ultimately, a truly fulfilling relationship is one where emotional and physical intimacy work together in harmony. Emotional closeness fuels trust, vulnerability, and a sense of partnership, while physical intimacy keeps passion alive and reinforces the romantic connection. When these two are balanced, a couple experiences not only love but also desire, not only safety but also excitement. And in that balance, they find the kind of connection that can stand the test of time, one that is as tender as it is passionate, as comforting as it is thrilling. When partners commit to nurturing both sides of this connection, they don't just maintain their relationship, they enrich it. They create a space where love is not only spoken and felt, but also lived and experienced in every touch, every conversation, and every shared moment. And in that space, they discover that love, in its fullest form, is both a warm embrace for the heart and a spark that keeps the soul alive. Do you want me to now expand the fourth keynote in the same style, so the whole set remains consistent and equally detailed? Respect is the foundation that allows love to grow in a healthy way, and boundaries are the structure that protects that love from being damaged by misunderstanding, overreach, or neglect. In any romantic relationship, two people come together with their own histories, values, and ways of seeing the world. Love may unite them, but respect ensures they can remain true to themselves while building something together. Without respect, love can easily slip into control, manipulation, or resentment. Without boundaries, even the strongest feelings can be eroded by repeated misunderstandings and unspoken frustrations. Respect in a relationship means valuing your partner as an individual, not just as a romantic partner. It means acknowledging their thoughts, opinions, and decisions, even when they differ from your own. You may not always agree with your partner, but respecting them means you listen without dismissing their feelings or belittling their perspective. This kind of respect also extends to how you speak to them, avoiding insults, sarcasm meant to hurt, or words spoken in anger that can leave lasting emotional scars. The way you handle disagreements says as much about your love as the way you handle romantic moments. Boundaries go hand in hand with respect. They define the limits that make both people feel safe, secure, and valued in the relationship. Boundaries can be physical, such as how much personal space someone needs or their comfort level with public displays of affection. They can be emotional, like needing privacy for certain thoughts or time alone to recharge. They can even be practical, such as setting expectations for how you divide household responsibilities or manage finances. These boundaries are not walls meant to push a partner away. They are healthy guardrails that keep the relationship balanced and prevent either person from feeling smothered, neglected, or taken for granted. In a healthy relationship, boundaries are not set by one person and imposed on the other. They are discussed and mutually agreed upon. This means openly communicating about needs and limits without guilt or fear of judgment. For example, if one partner needs an hour of quiet time after coming home from work before engaging in conversation, a respectful partner doesn't take it personally. Instead, they see it as an opportunity to honor their partner's needs so they can connect more positively afterward. Similarly, if one partner feels uncomfortable sharing details about certain past experiences, respect means not pressuring them to open up before they're ready. Mutual respect also means recognizing that your partner has a life outside of the relationship. They have friends, family, hobbies, and personal goals that are part of who they are. Supporting this independence is essential for long-term happiness. A healthy couple celebrates each other's growth rather than feeling threatened by it. When both people can pursue their own interests while still prioritizing the relationship, it creates a dynamic where they choose each other out of love and commitment, not dependence or obligation. Respect and boundaries also play a critical role in handling conflict. Disagreements are inevitable, but how they are managed can either strengthen or weaken the bond. When respect is present, arguments don't involve name calling, bringing up past mistakes to wound the other person, or ignoring their feelings. Instead, both people focus on the issue at hand and work toward a resolution. Boundaries during conflict might mean agreeing to take a break when emotions run too high, or avoiding sensitive topics until both partners are in the right frame of mind to discuss them calmly. One of the most challenging aspects of boundaries is maintaining them consistently. It's easy to let boundaries slide when things are going well, only to feel overwhelmed or hurt later when those boundaries are crossed. This is why it's important to revisit and reinforce them regularly. Boundaries should evolve as the relationship grows. What was acceptable or necessary early on may change over time. Life transitions such as moving in together, getting married, or having children often require couples to reassess and adjust their agreements to ensure both people still feel respected and supported. Respect also extends to how partners speak about each other to others. Publicly humiliating or mocking a partner, even in a joking way, can chip away at trust. On the other hand, speaking positively about your partner to friends, family, and colleagues reinforces a sense of loyalty and appreciation. When your partner knows you respect them both privately and publicly, it deepens their sense of security in the relationship. In relationships where respect and boundaries are lacking, it's common to see patterns of control, jealousy, and emotional burnout. One partner may feel entitled to know every detail of the other's life, demand constant availability, or make decisions without considering the other's needs. Over time, this erodes trust and intimacy. In contrast, relationships rooted in mutual respect and clear boundaries tend to feel more balanced and sustainable. Both partners know they are free to be themselves while still being committed to each other. Ultimately, respect is about honoring the humanity of the person you love, recognizing that they are not an extension of you, but a whole individual with their own thoughts, needs, and desires. Boundaries are the practical expression of that respect. They say, "I love you enough to protect both your well-being and mine." Together, they create an environment where love can grow without fear, trust can flourish without control, and both partners can feel safe to be authentic. When two people embrace respect and boundaries as core values in their relationship, they build something far stronger than a fleeting romance. They create a partnership where love is not only about passion and shared dreams, but also about trust, safety, and mutual care. In that space, both people can truly thrive individually and together. When two people first fall in love, romance seems to happen effortlessly. There are surprises, long conversations late into the night, and moments filled with excitement just from being together. But as time passes, life begins to settle into routines. Work deadlines, family responsibilities, and daily tasks take up most of the attention, and the spontaneous acts of romance that once came so easily can start to fade. The truth is, romance doesn't disappear because love is gone, it fades when effort fades. Keeping the romance alive in a long-term relationship means making a conscious choice to prioritize love, even in the midst of ordinary life. Romance is not only about grand gestures or expensive trips, though those can be wonderful. It's about the consistent, intentional acts that show your partner they are still desired, valued, and special to you. This can be as simple as leaving a sweet note on their desk, sending them a message during the day just to say you're thinking of them, or planning a surprise date night. These small acts keep the connection fresh, reminding both of you that your relationship is not just a shared responsibility, but also a source of joy and passion. A common mistake couples make is assuming that romance is only for the early stages of a relationship. In reality, romance becomes even more important over time because it counters the effects of familiarity and routine. When you've been together for years, it's easy to take each other for granted, not intentionally, but simply because life together feels normal. By actively injecting moments of romance, you break that routine and create experiences that reignite the excitement you felt in the beginning. One powerful way to maintain romance is to keep dating each other, no matter how long you've been together. Set aside time each week or month for activities that allow you to focus solely on each other. It doesn't have to be elaborate. It could be a dinner out, a walk in the park, cooking a meal together, or trying a new hobby as a couple. The point is to create opportunities where you are present with each other, free from the distractions of work, chores, and screens. Another important part of keeping romance alive is curiosity. Continue to learn about your partner, even if you think you already know everything. People change and evolve over time, and showing interest in their current thoughts, dreams, and challenges keeps the emotional connection strong. Ask meaningful questions, listen with genuine attention, and celebrate their growth. Romance often fades when partners stop seeing each other as fascinating individuals and start seeing each other only as familiar companions. Physical affection also plays a big role in sustaining romance. This doesn't always mean sexual intimacy, though that can be part of it, but regular, non-sexual touch, such as holding hands, cuddling on the couch, or giving a warm hug when you see each other after a long day. These moments of connection create a sense of closeness and remind your partner of your love without words. Physical affection can also help maintain the spark that keeps a relationship feeling alive and passionate. Surprise can be a powerful romantic tool as well. When you break the pattern of predictability, you create moments that stand out in memory. This could be as simple as bringing home their favorite treat unexpectedly, planning a weekend getaway, or even changing your routine to do something spontaneous together. Surprises don't have to be big to be meaningful. They simply show your partner that you are thinking about them in ways that go beyond the everyday. Another key to keeping romance alive is to protect the emotional connection from being buried under stress and unresolved conflict. When small irritations build up without being addressed, they can create emotional distance that makes romance feel forced. By practicing open communication and resolving conflicts respectfully, you keep the pathway to romance clear. It's difficult to feel romantic towards someone when resentment is quietly growing in the background. It's also worth noting that romance is not one size fits all. What feels romantic to one person might not feel the same to another. That's why it's important to understand your partner's preferences and love language. For some, romance might mean candlelit dinners and slow dancing. For others, it might mean acts of service, like taking over a chore they dislike so they can relax. Tailoring your romantic gestures to what makes your partner feel loved ensures that your efforts truly resonate. Over the years, life will inevitably present challenges, busy schedules, family demands, financial pressures that can make romance feel like a luxury rather than a necessity. But the couples who keep their relationships thriving are the ones who understand that romance is not optional. It's a vital part of keeping love strong. Even during the busiest times, taking a few minutes to connect, laugh, or share affection can make a significant difference. Keeping the romance alive is ultimately about choosing every day to see your partner not just as someone you share a life with, but as someone you are still deeply in love with. It's about remembering why you fell in love in the first place and finding ways to keep that spark alive through both small gestures and meaningful moments. When couples make this effort, they discover that love doesn't have to fade with time. In fact, it can grow richer, deeper, and more passionate with each passing year. One of the most beautiful yet challenging truths about relationships is that people are constantly evolving. Who you were when you first met your partner may not be exactly who you are 5, 10, or 20 years later, and the same is true for them. Life experiences, personal growth, and changing circumstances shape both of you over time. The healthiest couples understand this and embrace the idea of growing together rather than drifting apart. This means supporting each other's individual goals while also nurturing the shared vision you have as a couple. Growing together starts with recognizing that your partner's personal development is not a threat to the relationship, but an opportunity to strengthen it. When one person learns new skills, pursues higher education, starts a new career, or discovers new passions, the other has a choice to feel left behind or to become their biggest supporter. In a thriving relationship, each partner celebrates the other's growth, knowing that it brings fresh energy and perspectives into the shared bond. This mutual encouragement creates an environment where both people feel free to evolve without fear of losing the relationship. It's important to remember that growing together doesn't mean doing everything the same way or wanting identical things. In fact, having different interests can bring balance and variety to the relationship. The key is finding ways to connect those differences to your shared journey. For example, if one partner develops a love for travel while the other prefers staying close to home, they can find a middle ground by planning occasional trips together while also enjoying local adventures. Growth is about expanding possibilities, not forcing identical paths. Communication plays a critical role in staying connected as you grow. Without it, one partner may pursue new directions without the other fully understanding why, which can lead to feelings of disconnection. Regular conversations about dreams, challenges, and changing priorities keep both people informed and aligned. These talks are not just about logistics, they are about emotional check-ins, making sure that both partners still feel valued and understood as they evolve. Shared goals are another powerful way to ensure that personal growth feeds into the health of the relationship. These goals can be big, like saving for a home or planning for retirement, or smaller but equally meaningful, like learning a new hobby together or committing to healthier lifestyles. Working towards something together creates a sense of teamwork, and every milestone achieved reinforces the bond between you. Even when life pulls you in different directions temporarily, those shared goals keep you tethered to a common purpose. Growing together also requires adaptability. Life will inevitably bring changes, career shifts, relocations, health challenges, family dynamics, and personal transformations. Couples who resist change often find themselves stuck in patterns that no longer serve them, while couples who adapt together remain resilient. This adaptability means being willing to adjust expectations, routines, and even long-term plans when necessary. It's about asking, how can we make this work for both of us, instead of clinging to how things used to be. Another important aspect of growing together is maintaining curiosity about each other. Just because you've been with someone for years doesn't mean you know everything about them. People's inner worlds are deep and ever-changing. By asking questions, showing genuine interest in their new ideas, and being open to their evolving perspectives, you keep the relationship dynamic and alive. When curiosity fades, couples risk falling into emotional complacency, where they stop seeing each other as fascinating individuals. Of course, growth isn't always easy or perfectly aligned. Sometimes one partner experiences rapid change while the other feels stuck or unsure of their own path. In these moments, patience and empathy are essential. It's natural to feel discomfort when the balance shifts, but the goal should be to understand and support each other rather than compete or resent. Encouraging your partner during their growth phase often inspires you to seek your own opportunities for development, creating a cycle of mutual inspiration. Supporting each other's growth also means being willing to challenge one another with love and respect. Sometimes the best way to help your partner grow is to offer honest feedback. Encourage them to step out of their comfort zone or hold them accountable to their own goals. This is not about criticism, but about believing in their potential enough to push them toward it. When both partners take on the role of gentle motivator as well as loving supporter, they help each other reach heights they might not have achieved alone. At its heart, growing together is about making the choice to evolve as a team. It's about weaving individual journeys into a shared story, where both people feel fulfilled not only as partners but as whole individuals. It's a commitment to continually rediscovering each other, to celebrating each other's successes, and to weathering the changes that life inevitably brings. When couples grow together instead of apart, they create a relationship that doesn't just survive over time but deepens in richness and meaning. They become more than lovers, they become each other's allies, cheerleaders, and safe place to land. And in that kind of partnership, love isn't just preserved, it's renewed again and again, becoming even stronger with each chapter of life they write together.